nailing it. I'm Sarah with that hashtag show. So lovely to meet you, Allens, my Allens squared. When it comes to horror films, and even so, like jumping into a project that kind of already existed, I like to ask, like, why does this exist? Why did we want to make a prequel, a sequel, etc.? So when it came to bringing The Strangers Chapter 1 to life in this prequel world, what was the most important thing to you guys in order to make this work?
Well, this isn't really a prequel. This is what we've done is we've done a trilogy. The first movie is a little closer to what say is a remake or a reboot of the original Strangers, and then 2 and 3 continue the story. They continue the story both in terms of the victims and of the perpetrators. So we learn what happens to someone after they were victimized, and we learn about who the bad guys are, why, and what ends up happening to them in the end.
Yeah, I think as Alan said, it's a more hopefully satisfying horror experience, and that it's not just scary. You know, you're going to get the scares, but you're going to learn about some of the characters, both people who don't have masks on, but also the people who do have masks by the time you've watched all 3 movies. Yeah.
And I've heard a little bit of a rumor that this is based on some true stories that are out there.
Well, yes, we did some research, and unfortunately, home invasions do exist for no reasons. And without giving anything away from our movie, I'll just leave it at that.
These are the kinds of movies I think are the scariest, the ones that I think can really happen. So I want to ask, what are the scariest horror films and scary stories?
I agree with that. I think the scariest ones are the ones where you feel like, oh, that could really happen to me. So, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is always the one for me. That's the one that gave me nightmares when I was young and still does. The Halloween series, I would say. What about you?
I'm definitely a Halloween right up old school top, and but I also say Friday the 13th was up there for me. All of them, and I can't even count how many, but there were now. But it's the scary nature of you're never comfortable in your seat, and I don't think you'll be comfortable in your seat here for this one.
Thank you so much, and congratulations on tonight. Talk to me about bringing back an existing property and when that's the right time and the right way to do it.
Of course. I mean, I think it always has its challenges, but I do think that this was the perfect time to bring something like this back just because it was a fresh, modern approach. I think that the audience was ready for something like this, and I do think it just definitely stands true to being like a cult classic. So also, like, it's an event. So to actually bring people an experience to go to the theaters, that is our biggest hope. So
The Strangers, the original, was one of my favorites because I love horror movies that I think can really happen. Those are the scariest to me. So I want to know, what are the scariest horror movies for you?
Well, I would say, The Shining is like my favorite. So I would say, yeah, probably The Shining.
And I'm so over gateway horror. I think gateway horror is such a place, and I'm ready to be scared. Is this movie going to scare me?
100%. Your popcorn will spill 100 times over.
So what's your go-to I'm scared in the theater move?
I would say don't have popcorn on my seat.
I want to ask you, when it comes to The Strangers, for those that are out there that are like, we've seen this, we've done this, what do you have to say that is going to help make them excited and get in the theater to see it?
I think it's new. It's kind of fresh. There's new scares. There's new things that happen. And I think there's a lot of dimensionality that's addressed in these, movies that maybe will be a fresh new take on it.
Speaking with the writers, they were saying we're going to learn more about who the strangers actually are and dive much deeper into that. Is that something that you think maybe people will be way more into?
Absolutely. I think always having additional context and backstory is really great, and it gives more motivation to why they are who they are.
Do you have a favorite scene, like page to screen, for people to kind of look out for when they're watching it?
Ooh, I got asked this question, and I can't get too specific about it because I don't want to ruin things for people, but there is like a big movement scene, and I'm really excited to see how audiences react to it.
What is your go-to move when you are scared in the theater?
Oh my goodness, I'm like the worst. I look down, will do like the casual, like, oh, nobody look at me. I'm gonna look at my legs. My legs are on the ground. The ground is not moving unless you're in California.
Congratulations on tonight. This is so exciting.
Thank you, I'm so excited.
The original Strangers is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and I feel like there's a lot of people out there that feel the same.
Oh yes.
When it comes to bringing it back like this, what is something that you can tell them that it is different, it is exciting, and go to the theaters and see it?
First of all, I think you need to see a horror movie in theaters because you do not get the feel at home. I think you have to see it in theaters. I mean, I think you're going to get it at home too, but like you're really going to get it in depth here. But I also just feel like as a whole with this franchise, we really like dug very deep on the backstory, the whys, delved into more character work and all of that. So everyone who's been kind of craving more out of it, I feel like they're really going to get it with all 3 movies.
It's no more just like random people who showed up. It's like random people, but we also know why.
But why exactly and where and all of that, I think that is huge. And they really paid attention to all the details. So people who like the details, you'll see it.
I love that. So what is your go-to move when you're seeing a horror movie and you're scared? Like so that you can keep watching. Mine is like half covered my face with my eyes still open.
I'm a full this. That is how I watch everything. Maybe with my ears closed too. I'm a big scaredy cat, so that's how I'll look in the theater tonight.
Now, can you tell me anything about Cruel Intentions? Have you guys started filming yet? Is anything going on with that?
So we have officially wrapped actually for Cruel Intentions, so that's very exciting, and that should be coming out hopefully soon. We'll hear. Yeah.
Tease anything? I know it's like hush hush.
I mean, I definitely think, once again, it's taking an original film that is such a cult classic that I think people are going to be really excited about that as well, too. Yeah.
And you have a friend over your shoulder. I don't know if you noticed. Yeah. Congratulations on tonight. I'm very excited. The Strangers is one of my favorite movies, like horror movies of all time. How much pressure do you feel kind of knowing that's a lot of people's favorite, bringing this back to life?
I have so many friends that literally tell me, it's like, dude, that's one of my favorite horror movies. It's like, how are you going to match that? And I'm like, I will try, right? And it's a lot of pressure, but I think you also have to take those challenges and try to, like, tell a story, take it, make it longer, expand it, and that's what we try to do with the trilogy. So we're very happy with it.
I'm so excited to see it. For those that might be out there like, I don't know, we've seen this before. Like, how do you get them into theaters? What do you say to them?
Oh, it's got nothing. It's got all to do, but it's got nothing to do. I also think Madeline does a great job of taking a challenging character. So does Rennie. Like, he just takes the story and I think he elevates it. Like, you'll see. Is it the same movie or not? You tell me. I don't think it is. It is in a way, but.
So what is your go-to move when you're watching a scary movie and you get a little too scared and you want to protect yourself? Mine is half covering my eyes but leaving them open.
Nightmare on Elm Street, that series is would make me please, I want to go away. But my favorite would really be American Psycho. It's not. Is it a horror movie? I don't know, but there's killing in it. Yeah, but it's a different kind of genre. But I'd say those two.
Okay. Well, congratulations on tonight. Very excited to see this movie. You are no stranger to horror at all.
Strangers to strangers, right?
Strangers. You were in Malignant.
Yes, I was Malignant, and I was just saying that Rennie, the first time I met Rennie Harlan, he's such a. We met in the '90s, the long hair, filming all this cliffhanger. I was so nervous meeting him, but one thing that brought us together was James Wan and Malignant, and I just mentioned that. Oh, I've already mentioned that I'm talking to you. I mentioned to James that I was filming with Rennie. I was about to film Rennie, and Rennie got so happy. He just became, and just that genuine happiness that these people in the same sphere, doing the same sort of art form, and so skilled at it, action and thriller and horror. Just to see those two peers just be happy to hear about that they're sort of colliding in that sort of sphere. It just made me happy, and it was an immediate relaxed sort of vibe after that. Yeah.
Since you have done quite a few horror things at this point, what do you enjoy the most about them? Why do you keep wanting to come back?
I actually don't like watching horror films. It's too scary for me, so I much prefer being in them. And what I like about being in them is that it's this. Not just the jump scares, but also that the thrill and the build-up of the tension is this sort of orchestral thing. It's this sort of building up that volume of fear to that point of climax. So Rennie and James, you have the filthy mind. So Rennie and James, people like that, can do this orchestration, can compose this sort of thing, and just being a part of that orchestra is a sense of pride, and also just happy to be there and happy to be paid to do it. So I'd much prefer being in it than watching it. It's too scary for me.
So since horror movies scare you, I love that because I love being scared. I think it's one of the best feelings in the world. What's your go-to? I'm gonna hide while watching because mine's half my face.
Yeah. So it's a half face thing. I don't want to ruin the mascara I've got on. No, it's a half face thing, and then also just full face cover, just full face cover. Whatever it takes to get. But then I suppose you should be covering your ears, right? So I don't know how, you just have to get, sometimes my wife helps me. She'll cover my ears, cover my eyes. And if I scream too loudly, she'll cover my mouth as well. So I'll be bound and gagged if need be. You have the filthy mind.
Talk to me a little bit about bringing to life The Strangers Chapter 1 and kind of the hurdles of bringing to life a property that already exists.
Well, I think that was one of the things that was both a titillation for Courtney and me to begin with, and the challenge, because it's a classic, and we're not trying to be derivative. That's not what we do with our company or in our careers. So they had set the bar high. We set our own bar high, and we just decided, I think that one of the things about the times we live in is that the story is even more authentic now, unfortunately, than then, because we live in a world of real danger and uncertainty. So to just go on an Airbnb and think it's going to be all right ain't necessarily so anymore.
So when it comes to bringing a horror movie to life, like what must it have for you?
It must have fear before you get to the theater. It must have anticipation, which there is a lot of it. And I know from the people in our company just alone, like, oh my God, I can't believe this. How are we going to watch this movie? And then you have to deliver. And Madeline and Froy and everyone, tremendous. Just Madeline Pesh, superstar to be. Trust me.
You have brought to life some of my favorite movies, from Deep Blue Sea, The Covenant, and even a fabulous Christmas movie, Long Kiss Goodnight. Everyone talks about Die Hard. I'm like, no, it's that one. That's the sacred Christmas movie. So when it comes to bringing to life The Strangers, that is an IP that already exists. What was it for you that you needed to make sure you got right, and how you wanted to make it your own?
Well, for me, the exciting challenge of this was not doing a remake, not doing a sequel, but reimagining the whole universe of The Strangers and being able to create a 4.5-hour horror odyssey that digs deep into the psyche of both the victims and the perpetrators. You never have this chance in a normal movie, an hour and a half. You just don't have time to do that. And now we can really explore these things within these 3 movies.
So when it comes to horror and building the tension, do you have a specific trick? Like, do you have a move that you like to make sure happens?
That's a really good question. I have a lot of tricks, and it's something that you experiment with. I've made several horror films, so you try things out and see what works. And it depends on the story and the characters, of course, but it is about showing certain things to the audience and not showing certain things, and leading the audience down a certain path and either paying it off the way they expect it to be paid off or turning it around and surprising them. And these movies to me are not so much about jump scares and saying boo to the audience, but it's about creating a feeling of tension and dread that just never lets you go.
Great. This is so exciting tonight. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much.
So, big fan of yours from Cruel Summer. We actually had a little talk back show about it when the first season was on and the second season.
No way.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we loved you in it.
Oh, thank you so much. And that was incredible to get to shoot. Yeah.
So we're so stoked to see you in this, to see you keep kind of going in this thriller horror genre.
We love the thriller. We love the horrors of the world. They're incredible. Yeah.
What is a memory you're going to take from filming this trilogy?
Definitely just how amped it was. There was so much adrenaline every day. Not only when I got to watch the movie did I feel the adrenaline, but when we were shooting it, I would get back to my hotel room and I was buzzing. I couldn't go to sleep from all the action. That was really just such a cool experience to have, I think.
So give me this 30-second pitch. Tell everyone why they need to come to the theater and see The Strangers, Chapter 1, 2, and 3.
All right. My 30-second pitch. And I have to say, this movie is so suspenseful. It will keep you on the edge of your seat. There's so much action. These characters are people that you feel like you recognize in your real life. And there's 3 of them. We have 3 movies. It's a 4.5-hour epic odyssey. So make sure to check it out in theaters May 17th.
Great. We have been big fans of yours since Riverdale. We used to do a talk show called Poppin' Off at Pops, where we would
Love it pops.
loved it. So I'm so excited to see you enter your Scream Queen era. So give me your pitch. I'm giving you this one question. Tell everyone why they need to come to the theaters, check out The Strangers Chapter 1, 2, and 3, in case I don't get to talk to you again.
You're going to talk to me again for 2 and 3. Absolutely. Put that on the list. The reason why you should come to the theater to see Stranger Chapter 1 is that we spent so much time mixing these films and making sure that every sound comes out of the perfect speaker for your full immersive experience. We have so much love and heart and soul and blood and sweat and lots of tears, lots of screams, and because you love me.